Hi folks, this is part 2 of the video where I showed the making of this polished hammer piece for my new hammer. So I've basically polished it to a mirror finish before I harden it. Now to harden it I'm going to use a solution of just normal tap water, and what you do, you dissolve as much salt as you can in that water to make a brine. As you can see there's a few granules now that are still there, not fully dissolved. That's as much as you can dissolve in tap water, which will create the ideal medium to do the hardening in. So have that ready open, and I just hold it with hold the end with a pair of pliers. The pliers are going to take some of the heat, but I'm using Rothenberger map gas. It's a Rothenberger Surefire 2, which I've had for many years, and it's never bat an eyelid. So open the valve at the back, let the gas through on full blast, and then heat that tip up there till it's almost cherry red, and once the metal reaches, I think it's a little over 800 degrees, it loses its magnetism. So if you wanted to check it with a magnet, you could do, but I just do it by eye. So I'll go through that process now. There we are, just starting to turn cherry red now. So as soon as it goes cherry red, stop the gas and dip it into the fluid and with a stirring motion. If you don't do the stirring motion, what happens is a jacket of gas builds up around the metal itself and doesn't cool it as efficiently. So that's there done now. Now that's there hardened. If you wanted to just check it, it's still a little bit warm. If you wanted to do a tempering process, what you would do is repolish it till it's shiny again. Now that there'll be hard, extremely hard, and it won't mark when I'm tapping it with them pliers, which it won't look. So you can either leave it rock hard there, or again polish it up to an absolute mirror shine, and then on the second heating, and I'll try and do this, see if you can see it. I'll close that just in case I bang it. They're handy, these little flip top jars. Now I'll zoom in on these to show you some ones that I've done earlier. These are some little tools I made for doing texturing work in silver, to put patterns in, etc., with a hammer. So you can actually see there. Can you see, like this one is the best view? I'll show you that one. Can you see how it's like a straw yellow colour? Well, to temper that back to a slightly softer media, or the softer metal basically, what you do, you polish it to the ultra shine again, and then you start to heat it from below, and you can see the colour bands there. So that's where the flame would be, about there. I'm not going to show you because it's easy just to explain. So you put the heat on there, a gentle heat, and let the colours run up the metal, and then as soon as you see the straw colour, the yellowish colour appear, dip it straight into cold water. It doesn't have to be the same brine solution again. You can just use normal cold water for that. So I'll run through that again. You harden it till it's cherry red, into the brine to cool it, polish it back up, and then on the second pass heat the material directly, or in the case of a thinner section, I started below rather than doing it on the tip, because you get a longer time. You can see the colours appear better. So you let the colours run up, called chasing the rainbow, as it comes up. And as soon as it comes to like a strawy yellow colour, as you can see there, into cold water to fix it. So that's basically it for doing hardening. And the steel is tool steel. Standard tool steel, and you can hear the tone it gives once you've hardened it. It's extremely, the actual frequency is higher, whereas if you do it with a normal piece, unhardened, it's a lot lower. You'll soon get to know that when you've done a few. So all that remains to be done now with this head, I'm going to leave it full hardness, which will be between 60 and 70 Rockwell, somewhere in there. So all I'll do now is place that back into the hammer and go back onto the buffing wheel. Then that's one piece done. So I'll go and do that, and I'll be back within a tick. There we go. So that's the head polished up to perfection again. Let's give it a quick get some of the excess polish off. And that was a very, very hard, very durable planching hammer or shaping hammer, and it took about, altogether, it took about 3/4 of an hour to make that. Roughly, a little bit less maybe. So there we have it, polished to perfection. You can see your face in that, and extremely hard, so that'll be durable against any kind of jewellery metal anyway, gold, silver, brass, copper. And what I'll do over the few days this week, I will make more of those with varying profiles, as well as the nylon ones which I've showed you earlier. The nylon ones, these take about 5 minutes to make, on the grind wheel or on the turning, a lot more forgiving. So you could make metal ones like this as well, and make a whole array of different kinds of ends for both hammers. And can you imagine the savings you're making? I mean, if you had to buy one hammer with two different profiles on, you're looking at 40, 45 to 50 pound each, whereas these cost maybe a couple of pound each to make. But the beauty is having the knowledge and the skills to do it. So think for yourself, save your money. And you can use other things like old engine oil and things, but to harden, but you know, the far messy things. And most modern manufacturers today are using brine solutions to do the hardening, and it's clean, cheap and easy, and a lot easier to clean up afterwards. So my next job is to make another one now with a different kind of profile on it, maybe a pointed profile for doing heavy shaping of copper or whatever. And I've got another range there to do, another 2, 4, 6, another 8 there to do, so it'll give me more than enough shapes and enough scopes to do the plethora of different jobs and techniques. So that's basically the hardening process in a nutshell. Very easy to do. You don't have to use MAP gas. I mean, this MAP gas it's got a mixture of acetylene and other things in it, which makes it slightly hotter. It's over 2000 degrees, but you could use just normal propane, and with a decent enough torch, because you're not heating up a huge size piece of work there. It's only small, about 3/4 of an inch or so. So Cali gas is fine. I use MAP gas because it's if I've got a heavy job to do, it makes it far easier and far faster. So it's it's all in the know, is basically. And I'll give you one last look at those few tools there. Different shapes I've made for doing different patterns on silver work. There's a simple circle one, and there's a serrated toothed one there, a screwdriver flat, and a Greek cross, which is slightly profiled. If you look at it, it's rounded on the tip. What I'm going to do as well, I'm going to make a series of ends for this new hammer I've made. I'm going to, rather than making a whole full width inserts, I'm going to use a piece of, I think it's 11mm, but that hole's 10.5. I'll just make a series of those to fit in, because there's less to turn down then, and make some of these that'll fit in there like this, so I can do texturing on silver and copper as well. And like I say, tool steels, you know, these diameters is relatively cheap to buy. You could make, for £45 you could make a couple of dozen different ends in a day. So you can imagine how many hammers you'd have to buy. That's why I do it, because it's cheaper and easier. So hope that helps people to see how you can harden and make things yourself. So again, from a little shed in Yorkshire, thank you all for watching. Have a good day.